Today's demo video is going to be about drawing a room in one-point perspective. You're going to need a pencil with a good eraser, a ruler, and a paper with your name and your teacher name. First thing I'm going to do is I need to find the center of my paper. So I'm going to use my ruler to draw an X from corner to corner. 1, 2. So this point in the middle of my paper is going to be called the vanishing point. And that's what all of my lines are going to connect to from now on. Now, to make the back of my room, I need to measure a square box in the center of my paper. So I'm going to measure from this line down to this line. Make sure your ruler is straight on the edge of your paper. This line across. Okay, once again, make sure it's straight, lining up where you left off. Straight line. See how all of my lines are connecting on that original X. And then finally, closing my box. Imagine that this box is the back wall of your room. Now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to work on the windows. So I want the top of my window to be drawn in one-point perspective, so I'm just going to draw a random line from the center to the edge of my paper. Okay. Now to make my window or my door, I'm going to need to draw 2 vertical lines. I can draw one vertical line from the top of that line down to the ground, and another vertical line top down. Okay. I'm going to erase the guideline so that all I see on this wall is my door. Okay. I'm going to do the same thing over here. Start by drawing the top of your door. It needs to be a diagonal line to make it look like it's in one-point perspective. Line down and line down. And then erase. Okay. Now on the floor, we're going to be doing a checkered pattern. It looks tricky, but as long as you are willing to do a little bit of math, it is not difficult. So first thing I need to do is I need to measure the bottom of my paper. It is 8 inches across, and I'm going to be making a small dash mark every 2 inches. So 2, 4, 6, 8. That's not very hard math. Now the next thing is to draw a line from the vanishing point to each of these dash marks. So the first thing, I'm going to line up my ruler, line up my dash, and draw a line. Line up my vanishing point with my dash, and draw a line. Then I'm going to line up my vanishing point and my dash to draw a line. Okay. All right. This way you can see the wood paneling look on the floor. Now to make that a checkered pattern, we have to add another guideline. This guideline is going to start at the corner of your box, 1, and it's going to go to the corner of your paper, 2. So diagonal line across. Okay. This shows me everywhere that I need to do a horizontal line. I need to do one here, here, and here. So time to use my ruler. I am straight on the edge, so I know I can do my line across the bottom part of my floor. The next one's going to meet at the second dot. So across. And the last line going to go across. When you go back and erase that guideline, and you fixed your drawing, okay, now it looks like the floor is getting further away as it reaches the back of the room because these boxes are wider than these boxes. Okay, you can do the same thing with the roof, or if you choose, you can leave your roof a solid color, or you could even leave it open like a skylight. I'm going to review this part one more time in case you need to see it again. So step number 1 was to measure my paper every 2 inches. 2, 4, 6, no need to do one at 8 because it's all the way in the corner. Next is to draw a line from the vanishing point to the dash. 1, 2, and finally 3. Okay. Lastly, you're going to need to draw the line from the corner of your box to the opposite corner of your paper. So top corner of your box, opposite side of the paper. Okay. Connect it with a ruler. It's all about connecting the dots. And then I need to draw a horizontal line at 1, 2, and 3. And so you can see this a little bit better, I'm going to trace the back wall . And I'm going to trace my edges of my room, where the floor meets the wall, or where the wall meets the ceiling. Okay, so now I know that my horizontal line just needs to go on the ceiling, which is between this block line and this block line. Across, moving on up, this corner to this corner, stop, and finally this corner to this corner. Now I have a little bit more erasing to do now. I see that first I need to erase this diagonal line. So that my roof has a matching checkered pattern as my floor. I see that I need to erase this guideline because for some reason my horizontal line went across my wall. Okay. And last, if you want the back wall to be a solid color, you don't have to worry about erasing these. But if you want to draw a window on your back wall, then you need to erase those guidelines inside of the square. By vanishing point. Remember, I said you needed a good eraser. Now on this back wall, you can draw any kind of window you like. Draw a square window, a rectangular window, some kind of design window. And in that window, you can draw whatever you would like to see outside of your bedroom. Here's an example of an artwork that's already been traced with Sharpie. And outside of the 2 windows and doors, I decided to draw a space scene, like I was flying in a rocket ship in space. You could draw yours like you were looking out to the ocean, like you were looking out into your backyard or into a landscape. You could even draw yours like you were looking out at the zoo, and you could have little giraffes popping their heads through your window. Whatever you think looks best for your artwork. And that's it. Next step would be to add color. See your activity list for what to do for color.